This video's made for adult collectors because Pontiac Trans Am. Pontiac's dead now.
I've never seen a car before with hips. I don't like the way that it's so weird to me. Why does the car have hips? He has hips. They're right there. They're not lying. He has hips. I don't get it.
You know that Pedro Pascal meme from the second Wonder Woman film? Life is good, but it could be better. That's kind of how I would describe this thing. Windcharger's good, but it could be better. I do like this thing. I think they've been knocking it out of the park recently with their mini bots, but with Windcharger, he has a lot of oddities that make me kind of go, yeah, there's some really neat tricks this does to get around the limitations of the G1 design, and then it does some weird things I'm not the biggest fan of. This was bought at Robot Kingdom. Here's the box, not sponsored. The first thing that struck me when I took this out was the plastic quality. It feels super nice. The red especially feels really, really nice in the hand. There's no loose parts on this figure, actually, to the point of some bits being a little too tight. The knees, they are so tight that the foot transformation hinge moves and pops out before the knees do. And the ankles, they are really high up. I don't know how they could have gotten around that given the design, but like it looks really weird. It's just way too high. This may sound funny, but the crotch is just massive and it looks weird to me. Yes, I know. I don't know how else I would have worded that without it sounding weird, but it messes with the proportions. Head sculpt is cool. I like how like super concerned and serious he looks, even though his head's in a box. But there's this switch on the back. Why? So because of how close the head has to sit to the body to get that G1 accuracy, the head doesn't really have the space to look up or down. So you flick this switch at the back and he looks up. That's brilliant. He doesn't have heels and his feet are shaped like this, so they slope up at the back, and that means every once in a while he does fall over a little bit more than I would like him to. It's because he does the Viacon transformation thing, but here there's nothing back here to keep the legs either flat or flush. You have to have the heel and the leg like this when he's standing up straight, because if you have it normal, like naturally, he likes to fall over every once in a while. It's not like he falls over all the time, but maybe 2 out of 10 times he falls. Oh, and because of the transformation, there's a lot of like skeletal stuff if you look at him from the sides or like a side-ish angle. He comes with an itty bitty gun. It's so tiny, but it fits him very well. And you get the magnet effect because bro's basically Magneto. Think about it. If they used his powers in the shows more, if he showed up in shows more, he'd be one of the most powerful Autobots because like, they're all made of metal. But the effect is cool. It can store on his back, though I do wish it could plug into his arm somehow. That would have been neat. I want to point out something funny I just noticed about this figure, more so about its box. That's the picture they went with. Oops. That's the picture they went with, because the only time you ever see this man in the movie, he's dead. And I guess they didn't want to stick a dead body on the back of this packaging in case they do a dead pack of this guy or something. I don't know. So it's just this, and that's really funny. Also, I just noticed the sticker here. Interesting. Anyways, Windcharger's articulation is pretty much all there, which is surprising for something this small. Like it's surprising how the mini bot, they're so, all of them are so very articulated for being, you know, mini bots. But yeah, Braun fell over. Windcharger has everything you'd want. The head can do a full 360, though it does rotate at a slightly weird out of focus angle because I believe of this mechanism like inside means the mushroom peg has to be set back a bit. So he does look left and right like that, which is a tiny bit weird. And when you do a full 360, it does push this out of the way, but also who's going to be doing that? You have the switch at the back that allows the head to look up and down, and you can do that at any angle. So I really like this. That's a very cool solution to this problem. The shoulders, they are on ball joints. They can do a full 360. They can only go out that far though. Again, kind of like Arachnid. I wish there was a bit more of a cut. Will you focus on the shoulder? I wish there was, oh my goodness, this camera, I swear to God. I wish there was a bit more of a cut there so that the arm could go out even further. It only goes out that far. You do have a bicep rotation, a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then the wrist is on a ball joint. It is a little bit tough to get in here because of this panel, but he does have a wrist swivel. Now, the gun, it is a bit hard to get into the hand, at least on my copy. It requires a lot of force, and I have to push from the back of the hand too to get this to sit into place, and then, you know, it's not the most painless thing in the world to do, but that is a tiny bit annoying. The grip on the gun is really tight.
Also, the gun can store in the stand port on the back there. He does have a waist joint. It can do a full 360 on that. The hips, they can go all the way forward, and if you rotated the waist, they can go even more up, which is awesome. They can go back the same amount. You do have the splits. There's a really stiff joint here. Thigh rotation, the knee. So the knee is really stiff. You have this joint down here as well. This is more for transformation, but you have this joint down here as well. So I go on to bend the knee. That always happens. This moves first, and then this comes unpegged. The grip here is, well, it's just resting in there. There's no actual clip or throop or any sort of hook or whatever to keep that into place. It just slides in and out. And so when it presses against here, it pushes itself out. Little annoying, and the knee is really stiff, but the knee can bend slightly under 90 degrees. And then you have that little, we'll call it a foot joint there, and then you have your knee pivot because it's all the way up at his knee. Again, I don't know how they could have done it otherwise, but yeah, that is a little unfortunate. But yeah, so he has all of the joints. It's just, especially in the lower legs, they get a bit awkward and weird to use, and it becomes slightly unfun. Not to mention, like, if I get him standing up actually stock straight here, it takes no effort to push him over. Like, if you knock the desk or if you put something down next to him, he will just, like, do this a lot. So it's a little unfortunate. I think the biggest problem for me is just these lower legs. I wish they were better.
So Robot is fun and all. I just wish the legs functioned a bit better. The effect could go on his hand and the torso wasn't as skeletal looking. Oh, and funny crotch thing. The transformation though. Now this is neat. Again, it was engineered by the same guy, Takara, who did both Widow and the RID Viacon, so it shares a lot with those two, and it's just like a good transformation scheme, so why not, right?
So it's like Widow and the Viacon's transformation, but only backwards. Just because this doesn't go over the front, this goes over the back. So to start with, we leave the head where it is, and you want to fold the wrists in on themselves, straighten out the arms, and then rotate these shoulder pads 180 degrees, and that will line all these panels up at the side here, like so. Then you want to take the only clear plastic piece, there we go, on the back, bring this up and down. It is pretty thick, these hinges, so like I'm not worried about this breaking, but this is an entire chunk of clear plastic. You shift it back here like this. Then you want to take the arms and fold them up on this hinge at the top here and get them into place, which sometimes is easier said than done. There we go. And then these two pegs are going to peg in around the stand port and also eat the arms. And that's basically the upper body done. Now we're gonna do the legs. So to start with, you want to unfold this entire thing back here, which look, those are inserts. However, if you look at the front here, yeah, you can see the holes and it does look a bit strange. However, I'm okay with that compromise for these to not be entirely clear plastic pieces on this supporting hinge. Then you take the wheels, you bring them out, you then peg all of this together like that, which also, there's the customer service stamp if you ever need to customer service the figure. Then you want to fold this up at the ankle joint, basically, bring it all the way around, and it will unpeg itself. That's what it'll do. It will eat the rest of the car, and there you have Windcharger in his Trans Am mode. The gun does store underneath like this, right? So it does stick out this way. However, I kind of wish it doesn't fit this way, because the little whatever that's supposed to be, magazine I guess, bumps into the hinge on the wheel, because that would have been cool if it became the exhaust, but it doesn't. It sits at an angle, and then you can't like flip it around and plug it in this way, because like, oh, now the magazine doesn't hit, but this hangs lower than the wheel. So you have to plug it in this way on this side. That's the only place it'll store, and it does stick out a little bit and look weird, but that's great storage. This just kind of goes there and you call it a day. Okay, this is a little annoying. I'm trying to get these guys like all in their alt modes, right? Just for a shot. And Sea Spray won't stay together anymore. I don't know what's happened. It's just it won't go together. It won't do the do.
He becomes a Trans Am looking thing, but with the back of the car based on the original toy, and I don't really like the back end. I like everything else about this car mode. The windows are inserts at the front, which is epic, and the silver on the grille is very nice, though I wish the headlights were picked out, but at least that entire thing is painted silver. And given the ground clearance and the pinned wheels, he rolls very well, but yeah, I don't really vibe with the massive extended wheel arches. This is a Pontiac Trans Am. well, an approximation of one. I kind of wish they just stuck with that over going the G1 toy route, because that's what they did here. However, once they inevitably do a G1 toy deco of this will probably fit and look nicer. I think this thing is good. I still like it, but there is enough here I don't like to recommend it, but on sale. It's fun if you're collecting mini bots, but I think like a sale would make this feel like a much nicer buy. But that's my look at 86 Windcharger. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.